Remember NFTs? God, that was dumb. Every now and then on Reddit these days, I see some jokes, some jokers being like, "Oh, people think that the mainstream society isn't working anymore. They're idiots and they're going with other things." Guys, we had that figured out back in '08. That's why we made Bitcoin. We don't think that your system works anymore because your system only works for you, your friends, and the people you know. Nancy Pelosi is unbelievably rich because she knows the stock market so unbelievably well because she's right freaking there. Her husband sold stocks in something before something else happened and something else was declared. Guys, the people at the top, the rich, they don't care about you. And if they did, you would be part of their friends. Like, there are some poor people they like, but if you don't know about them, then you are just not there. The rich still haven't figured out that the people at the bottom don't trust them, that they're living in their own world. They're living in their own little bubble. And within this little bubble, they have their own law system. They have their own law system because if you pay for a better lawyer, you will get a better outcome, which is unconscionable because it should be about if you're right or if you're not. What is it? 13 Angry Men? 13 Angry Men was a movie about one juror. Everybody else just wanted to get out of there, and they wanted this little black N word to get. I hate that word. They wanted this little black kid to fry. One of them had tickets to the ball. One of them wanted to get back to their family. One of them wanted to get to their kid's game or their kid's recital, something like that. And there was just one guy, one fat ass that was real quiet. Nobody talked to him. And then he went through the facts. He was like, you know what? I don't think that lawyer even gives two damns. He was publicly appointed. And there was one thing I really didn't like, he said. There's no way that that guy could have gotten from point A to point B in that amount of time. I will run around this table. This table is X amount of time, meaning it would take me Y amount of time to get through. And then slowly everybody lost. Oh, the game was over. Oh, the recital was done. And in the end, they decided that the guy was right. They let him go. Everyone wanted him to fry. This happens. Now, would everyone have wanted him to fry if that guy was an actor that was in one of the movies they really liked, even as an antagonist? Would they give him a problem? Or would things be different? Also, when you're rich and famous, things are different. One of the Kennedys, oh my God, one of the Kennedys could driving the car, and the drink. He gets out of the car. His friend doesn't. He doesn't talk about it for days. And he's like, "Oh yeah, well this thing kind of happened." And he got off with it pretty easily. He didn't make president because of it, and that's why JFK got in. And also, was it? I think I'm pretty sure it was Barbara Bush. Didn't stop at a stop sign, killed one of her exes, and she just gets off with it. It's just what happens. You have money, you're well connected, things go there. So now we have people who are rich and kind of well connected who are figuring out that this system just not working. Like, we want it to work. I want it to work. I absolutely want it to work. But here's the thing, I can't get a house anymore in Canada, one of the biggest countries in the world. Like, I could get a house, but I have to find somebody and, like, in a relationship with me. I have to trust them, they have to trust me, and we have to give every fucking dollar that we have. Because things aren't really sold for what they're worth. They're sold for what people will pay for them. And then you get supply and demand, and then you get people gaming that supply. You literally get people gaming that supply and demand, and you can game that so easily. You'll find people in the stock market gaming things. You find people in auction houses. Everybody has the game a little bit. You get the good and the bad and the bad and the good. There's evil and good, and there's good and evil. And no matter how good you have things, you're just going to get evil in there. But here's the thing with politics. There is so much evil in politics right now. I didn't want to believe it. I absolutely did not want to believe it. I thought when I was little that if I just did what I wanted to do, or if I just got a job, and I paid my taxes. I could make sure that the old had security, the young had education, and the sick had a health plan. And through all of this, I knew that the people watching me cared. I knew that the liberals cared about everybody. I knew that the NDP cared about everyone. I knew that the Conservative Party just cared about themselves. But here's the thing about evil: the kingpin of New York will never let New York fall. Doctor Doom will never let Earth fall, because that messes with his money. And that messes with Latvia. And they won't let that stuff happen. So we have a system that's put together by faith to help people underneath the lower class that thinks that the people at the top are helping them, but they're not. The people at the top are just helping themselves, because the people at the top only associate with people at the top because of the socio hierarchy structure. Though we do not have a caste system like India, shit, it feels like we're bringing it in. Though we do not have a caste system, we have a hierarchy system that still screws up. There's absolutely favoritism. Money absolutely changes things. So we are full of schooling systems and progressives that hate us. Guys, progressives, you hate us and you want us to die. You want us to die. I've been with you when you're drunk. I've hung out with you when you're drunk. And I actually ask you questions because I'm not trying to have sex with you. Now, so many women have such a problem with reality because the only people that they talk to about anything, the women just agree with them on anything and just want to make them happy and make sure that they're happy at the end of the day. The men just want to have coitus with them. They just want to entangle with them. So it's amazing the information that I will throw back and forth at these social justice warriors. Like, when you talk with them enough, you get their algorithms. You find out at what points they get to say, you don't get to tell me my reality. And stuff like that. They have these cards that they pull out. But the thing is, when you know those cards, they're so bad. They are so bad at doing these things themselves. Two women I loved, held me to rules that they would never, ever be able to be accountable for. Never go through my phone. Never go through my stuff. Never go through any of my written information. You're never supposed to touch any of your lovers, personal information. Don't even get into that shit. But I have had two women that say, though you can't look at any of their stuff, literally went through everything that I had. One of them brought everything together and gave it to the police. Everything I ever emailed. I think all of my internet history too. Funny part is I wasn't worried about it. Though I know I am crazy. I'm not crazy. Though I know I'm different. I know I'm not illegal. I know I'm allowed to watch porn. And I know none of the porn that I watch is illegal. This vetted me by the police. The police know me now. They know that I hunted pedophiles. They know the dark places I went online. And they know what I did when I was there. It actually helped me. It actually helped me so much. Because I kind of lost my mind after that when one of these women who I have children with, decided to start another relationship with somebody else before we were divorced. And man, women will tell you that they can have friends with whoever they want. Women can have friends with whoever they want. And if it goes over the line, it's your fault because you were a dick and you pushed it and you made it happen. Okay, so the normal people in the South have words for these women. Us white men aren't allowed to use these words, though I think we should start pointing them out and defining them. Puta. Puta. Yes, puta. So many women are really just hoes. I can't really blame them. I mean, if I had bobs and vagina, I would probably use it to manipulate the world too. But here's the thing, absolute power corrupts absolutely. All of the freaking women out there are blaming white men for everything. So, do I look do I look normal to you? No. No, but here's the thing women love to do. They love to they love to hate on the attractive guys who are powerful, who they also want to sleep with and be with. All of these attractive men that have power, they do negative things, but women won't call them on this shit because they have money. So they take all of this shit that they hate white men for, they put it in a big old pile, and then they fire it off at the men that they think is less than them. Now, if we have any of these women watching, because there's a lot of rage baiting women, you're all into the Buddhism. You're Buddhist, right? There's good and bad and good. That's yin yang. It's really funny when they tell me that's not what it means at this point. And to that I had to say, ladies, just because you have bobs and vagina, just because you have positive feelings about you knowing what it means, doesn't mean that you know what it means. Maybe the book Illusion was not real, and maybe the people that taught you the power of positive thought worked that way. It only worked that way because they were rich, and the power of positive thought works wonderful for rich people and for women with bobs and vagina, because everyone's trying to make them happy because they want their money and they want the poontang. How is that so hard to believe? How is that? Sex and money are the big reason that people break up. How is it hard to believe that there are women out there who would use their sexuality to kite for power? Girls, you know you do. We're not allowed to talk about this in society. We're not allowed to talk about this. When I get one-on-one with women and we're talking with our id, not our ego, not our super ego, our id, like legit, y'all know what that is? If y'all women are watching me and giving me a hard time and saying that I'm a narcissist and stuff like that, do you know what those three things are? Do you know what the 5 basic personality types are? Now, this drives me nuts. This drives me nuts. There are so many people, not just women, that think they know narcissism, covert narcissism, all of this stuff, that think they know abuse, that literally they just don't know bullshit. They just don't know shit. And when I try to call them out on this, the ones that destroyed my family, when I go to their house and knock on their door and try to take them up on some of this stuff, the guy said it's not abuse if your wife refused to hug you for 2 years. It's not abuse. I just wanted to go and have a talk with this guy. I wanted to debate his ideas. Not only would he refuse to come out and try his ideas, I just wanted to go for a walk with him. No, he had to call the police on me. 4 people called the police on me that night, and all I wanted to do was knock on their door and ask them why they said things that they said. I was vetted by the police. So the police call me up, and they're like, don't do it again. Basically, my ex-wife slept with my best man. It's really not that big a deal, though, because I didn't pick my best man. But, like, before I go to sleep, when I think about this shit, all the shit that my wife said about me, and then she slept with the ex-man that she chose for me. Wow. And then at the same time, everyone's all like, well, it's your fault, Evan, because you're the man. Yeah, Child Protective Service say I should move out, even though I had videos of my wife hitting my kid. Guys, from a realist id point of view, we shouldn't have Bitcoin. Bitcoin shouldn't exist. We have Bitcoin because we don't trust the banks, okay? The banks in '08 fucked us. The rich fucked us. They literally walked into black neighborhoods with their intelligent level 99 words, and they bullshit baffled brains. They took housing away from poor and stupid people. That is evil. That is the kind of stuff that changes your immortal damn soul. So we're there right now. We don't trust the banks. There was a time then when people, when my dad was young, every now and then someone would come into town to buy a car when he was working at this car place. And one guy, he brought in a can to pay for a car. He opened it up. Oh, wrong can. Came back the next day with a can full of money. My dad's like, why'd he do that? And he said nobody trusted the banks after the depression. Nobody trusted the banks anymore. So some people just kept their money in cans. Guys, we're getting back to that. The bankers don't know it because we keep importing really talented people from other countries. We've been disproportionately importing people from India. And these people are working in our telecoms. They're working in our financial institutions, and they don't care about you because they have a caste system. But this caste system is protected by the SJWs, who think nothing is evil unless it's white and male, and automatically everything white and male is evil. Now, for the future, this is exactly the society we're in right now. This is exactly the society we're in, and I wouldn't say that if I didn't catch it on multiple women. We have too many women who are well educated, who are basically anarchists, and it terrifies me. Women who graduated from McMaster University, Canadians, you know that name. We're not fucking around here. This isn't some liberal art shit. And these women will tell me that racism doesn't exist unless it's institutionalized. If a black man hits an Asian, that's colorism. So then I bring them a dictionary and I look up the word racism. And we look at that together. 3 of them, 3 educated from McMaster's, have told me that book, the dictionary, is made by white men. So we don't listen to it. Whoa, okay. Now that terrifies me. So we're not looking at reality anymore. What reality are we looking at? And why are you being anarchic? Why are you changing the definitions of everything and not going with the definitions of these things? So Apple, Android, sorry, other way around. Apple and Android. If I prefer Android to Apple, I'm discriminating against Apple. I'm not hurting it. I'm just choosing the Apple phone. Actually, that's an Android. It's morning time. White women, if you have a black man and a white man in front of you, and you're like, I'm going to date one or the other, or treat one differently than the other because of my preconceived notions, that is racism. That is discrimination. You don't know either of these people, and you are going with one or the other based off your preconceived notions. I have literally had some of these women tell me that I have benefited from being white. Bitch, I'm crazy. I ain't benefiting from shit over here. Jeffrey Epstein, Jeffrey Weinstein, they were all rich. But all the women that want to bitch about shit, they love these rich guys. Oh, it's okay, you can be a rapist and touch my boobs and my bum. You have money. Money makes everything okay. But here's the thing. We don't have enough money for this bullshit anymore. We don't have enough. Okay, so if money brings happiness, and if you don't think so, you're just fucking. Money brings happiness. Money brings chaos. Money brings happiness. Money brings a lot of things your way. There are a lot of women who will marry horrible men for money and then bitch about their decision later on. There's a lot of women who will date horrible men and then bitch about their decision later on. You know damn well there's a lot of white chicks that got pregnant with black babies and it just didn't frickin' work out. You know, it's a disproportional amount of money. But that's my fault because I'm white and colonialism and slavery. But what they'll never tell you is the people that made the most money off slavery, person to person, the person who made the most money off slavery was black. So there was a time when the black slaves got sent back. Libya or Liberia, one or the other, I keep forgetting the name. These blacks went back and immediately enslaved the people who were there. Guess what? There's still slavery in Africa. Slavery existed before colonialization. If whites never made it to Africa, Africans would still enslave each other. Now, here's a piece of information that I can't get past anybody. Nobody, though it is true, maybe some of us are a little bit different. I know I'm different from everybody. Maybe we have taken all the most intelligent people from Africa in parts of it. Like there are parts of Africa that work okay, but even Africa, there's a saying, this is Africa. And even in places where there aren't many whites, okay, I'm not saying the whites didn't fuck anything up, but we're joking to ourselves if we want to act like everything there is white people's fault. Like, let's face it, guys. India, are you watching? You guys don't know what you're doing when it came to your independence. You can't blame the whites for what the Muslims did to the... I ain't even going to get... I don't even understand it. I don't even understand what you guys did. Like, Sikhs chopping off the heads of their daughters? Why? There's so much war going on about that even to begin with. It stopped so long ago, guys. Guys in Canada, we let the Sikhs in. And now we're in shit for that. Now you're doing the... Okay, the Sikhs are doing some really dumb shit in Canada, in Brampton. I love Sikhs. Legitimately, I love Sikhs. I think they're the most badass. The military stories, from the Sikhs. But with some of the shit that I'm seeing, we got people, okay, driving around. The immigrants here legitimately enjoy a sphere. It's fading now, but they're enjoying a sphere of protection, and like they feel okay. What has happened in Brampton? Weddings, for some reason in the Middle East areas, there's some people like to dance with guns. And that's been happening. There was a family of old people dancing with AK-47s. Guys, this is Canada. You take that shit home. You take that shit home. If it was a white person doing that, it would be armed escorts coming down on you like crazy. But no, it wasn't. We can't have this shit, guys. We have organized crime gangs, Sikh organized crime gangs, who are from here trying to get their own country in damn, it's so complicated. Okay, so when India broke up, there were three main religions, and it is a big fucking deal. It's a big deal if you all of a sudden get independence and there's multiple religions. Let's face it, we're Christian over here in the West. In the Middle East, they believe in Muhammad and noggin our holidays and stuff, right? But anyways, they probably should have broke India into three countries, but they didn't. One per each. As soon as the Indians were told that, as soon as India was told that it had its own independence, the Muslims started running through the streets and taking the another religion and just killing them in the streets. Guys, this is true. This is history. This isn't whitewashed. There were no white men to make the history then. They had left. The white men left the buildings. And guess what? It wasn't hands across India. It was freaking horrible. So now, so India broke up. There was another country right next to it. On any other day, I could tell you the names of all these places. I got so much going through my mind. There's another Pakistan. I'm pretty sure Pakistan was made, but as soon as they made Pakistan, they could not say where the border was because of how many people would have killed people because of it. And that had nothing to do with colonialism. It is possible that we have monsters, absolute monsters, that are just as bad as any colonialist. I'm going to say it. Colonialism had its problems. Colonialism had its monsters. So does every other religion. And by saying that the left can't be wrong and that every other religion can't be wrong because they're discriminated against, we are opening the doors to hell. We're literally in a time right now where there are certain pedophiles who are just so progressive we can't touch them. But I'm going to touch them. I'm going to touch them all over. There was a pedophile that came to Reddit. Someone from the UK. This pedophile, though not convicted with anything herself, was in a case where her father, who was in the same house as her, was raping, torturing, tying up another individual who was under the age of 16, or maybe it was 16. Can't remember if it was a male or a female at the moment. And so got a job with the Green Party, tried to get her father in after he was convicted for this. Green Party finds out he was convicted, tries to ask her what was going on. She's all like, well, I'm LGBTQ. If you're giving me a hard time, it's because I'm LGBTQ. They kicked her out. Reddit tried to pick her up, okay? Half of Reddit shut down in protest before they got rid of her. We are absolutely taking care of pedophiles at the top as long as they're progressive. Look at John Money. John Money killed 2 kids over the long run. For science? Yes. So does that mean that all of a sudden we will let the Nazis away with all the atrocious stuff they did? No. No. I will never forgive John Money. And I will never forgive progressives for not looking into John Money and for saying, whoa, that was fucked up. John Money spread some really dumb shit that still hurts kids today. You cannot raise a boy to be a girl. You can't do it. He killed himself, John. Her brother killed her. His brother killed himself, John. I bet you had a lot of money when you died, John. But they didn't. They didn't. Ultimately, there were 2 twins born. One of them, a hospital had this idea to use a heat gun to circumcise, but ended up just frying the whole penis off. John Money thought that he could tell the kid to be a girl, even though it was a boy. Did not assimilate. Did not assimilate. We don't talk about these stories because they're beautiful. Because there's not a man, a white man, chasing us around. Candyman. Candyman's got to be the only black axe killer, right? Yeah. You probably couldn't even make a serial killer movie where the serial killer was a black guy. No, it had to be a white guy these days. Anyways. Everything's changing, man. And it's unfortunate. The rich only care about the rich, and they don't see what's going on with the rest of us. They don't see that we don't trust the system that they're making anymore because the system only works for them and their friends. They don't understand that we made Bitcoin because we don't trust them. We don't trust them. We absolutely don't trust them. And we absolutely shouldn't trust them because they're only interested in themselves, their money, and the people they know, and the sexy time with people that they want. They don't care about us. They call us the unwashed masses. If they were watching me right now, they would call us the unwashed masses. Trudeau doesn't even... Well, I'm sure he gets a check, but the one that he's concerned about the most is the check from his family's establishment. We need to re-overhaul all of politics. Men need to have a voice again. They don't need to have the only voice. They do not need to have the only voice. They deserve a voice, though. And there's nothing wrong for saying that. It's an interesting time. It's a really interesting time. And I really hope we make it.